I have to stand up there?
You can.
Oh, what? My teacher said I didn't have to talk.
This is the fun part.
This is the fun part.
Okay. My favorite fall season is Christmas. I like Christmas because it's for my kids. So Christmas is the time that everyone shares, and not a lot of time people share around here. So, you know, every families get together and meet each other and things like that, and that's why I like Christmas. And of course, we all get presents. So, that's it.
Great job. That's how you do. Okay, Bernard.
Oh my
Fall tradition.
Thank you.
That's why you're taking the class.
Yeah.
That was good. You really good.
Thank you.
So?
Your fall tradition.
Oh, about fall? Okay. This takes me back to my military service, and I played soccer and I coached soccer. Now I could tell you about my experience in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, or I could tell you about my experience in Pleiku in Vietnam. Which would you rather have? No, okay, I'll Pleiku, we didn't have, we had only about 4 people that were playing and doing it. But in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, I belonged to the Fort Sill team, but we had no backup. Usually you have a captain in a company, and he would love to get his football team and get honors and state honors and so on. But with us, it was silence. We were all foreigners. We had an Egyptian guy, we had a Shukri was his name. And the other day I read somebody who's a foreign official, his name was Shukri. Maybe that's my old football buddy. And our coach was the Pepsi Cola driver. He would bring the little potato chips and the Pepsi Cola and drive around the base and fill it up with fresh material. So that's our coach. One day, he was about 50 years old. We were 11. We were supposed to be 11, and he actually had to fill in. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna be your 11th man." So this man, 50 years old, he helped us win, and actually I think we won something like 14-0. Because we had such good players. We had people from England, we had Irishmen, we had me last, but it turned out to be, that would be one of the things people from Germany, they came all the way from an Air Force base, which was actually west of Fort Sill. They drove 50 miles just to play and come for practice too. So that was a nice memory, and I still carry that. And one thing, the German guy it was tight with the newspaper. That was a weekly, and they took my picture. I had scored 3 goals, and they took my picture and they put it in the newspaper. And you should have seen, I came back to her barracks one day and said, I showed it to my barracks neighbors, said, "Oh my God, we have a star!" Thank you.
Thank you, Renard. Okay, Kathy, your fall tradition.
In order for me to practice for the area, can you just come up with something brand new that I hadn't heard,
Something brand new that you heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you have something?
Absolutely, I have something. Since the premier holiday in the fall tradition happens to be Halloween, which Halloween costume did you like the best? Either you've worn it or someone you know has worn it.
Okay. Which Halloween costume did I like the best? Well, believe it or not, I do have a wonderful favorite. When I was in college, I was a member of the International Club at University of Alabama. We had a lot of people there from the Middle East, and we had some people from Italy and Spain and all these other countries. And I worked on my costume. They had announced like a month ahead of time that we were going to have a Halloween party and we all needed to dress up. I worked for that whole month in all my spare time and made myself a pumpkin costume. And I made it by having coat hanger wire and then mounting cardboard on it and then putting orange crepe paper over it. And then I had shoulder straps and I put it on me, and I had a hat that was orange and with a green stem on top of it. And I wore that to the party. And I went to that party and there was this cute Italian guy. And I had been eyeing him. I think the eyeing had been mutual. And he'd come up to me and he'd go, poke, 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 poke. He was the cutest thing. I think he liked my costume. And I think that got us started dating. And that was really the bonus. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, I would say to have the same Halloween costume thing, that would be true. That'd be a little weird, but anyway. Okay, so on to general evaluations. Yes, let's do that. Sound good?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the section of the meeting where we do general evaluations, where we evaluate the meeting overall, and typically in that section of it, we evaluate speeches. So if we had 3 speeches, we go through the 3 speeches. We would then do table topics, and this part we would then evaluate each speaker. There would someone get up and do an evaluation, and their evaluation was 2 or 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes each evaluation. Then after that was all done, the general evaluator would get back up there and then he would say, let me evaluate the entire meeting, and he introduced the tag team, which is the timer and the AHA grammarian, which is played by Peter this evening. So Peter, could you give us the timer and AHA grammarian report this evening?
Sure. Bernard, like we previously mentioned, you went way over your time. You got to watch your time for that, so you're going to make sure it's stick to 5 to 7 minutes. You also went way over your time on your table topics.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to watch your times. You got to stick to a certain. We have certain rules that we have to follow by. Everybody else with their table topics were within the time limits, which is very good for that. So we want to say congratulations, Sheila. You gave your first impromptu speech. You know, you got to start somewhere. But Toastmasters, there's a place that you want to start off with, and you'll within 3 speeches, guarantee you'll improve by 100%. So that's all I have.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. It's like I started and it was awful, and really by the more and more you do it, the easier it gets and the better you perfect your skill at it. You get better and better speeches. Even if you only do it every now and then, at least you're like, okay, you don't feel bad about giving the speech and walking away from it. That's good. Okay, well that I guess that essentially wraps up this evening's meeting. I'll bring. Oh wait. Go
Can I
ahead.
just report on dues?
Yes.
Okay. We currently, only 5 people have paid their dues to renew. The only other one that I'm pretty sure is coming back is Tom Cummings, but he hasn't paid yet. But I know he's been real busy with Bonnie. I haven't talked to him lately, but
And his son too.
yeah. So I will give him a call. All right.